And I think it must have been that my father took me for a haircut just before school opened. And in the barber shop there were newspapers in English and in Italian. And one of the newspapers, Italian newspaper, had a picture of two men who looked like they could have been any two men in the barber shop, or two men in my family. And there was the headline, Esecuzione, and then Sacco and Vanzetti, and then so with the little Italian that I knew, oh my gosh. And I turned to my father and said, they're going to kill those men. And he said no, and then later he told me about it. In 1972 or 73, when I was stationed in Norfolk, Virginia, my wife and I went to a showing at Old Dominion University of the 1971 movie Sacco and Vanzetti. And after it, first of all, at the end, everybody applauded, which was wonderful. And I wrote to my father that night, back up where my parents were living in Ridge, and I said, Dad, it's the first time I ever saw a movie where I was proud to be Italian. Every other time you ever see Italians in movies, they're always either buffoons or gangsters. And in this, they were shown for victims of the prejudice which I had experienced and which I had learned of so much from my father and my grandfather. And my father wrote back a beautiful letter, unfortunately now lost, in which he said that, I will use a word I prefer not to use, but I want to quote him. He said, on the night they were executed, he was 13 at the time, on the night they were executed, I hid under the bed because we were all afraid they were going to come and kill all the guineas. I've recently read for about the 8th time Roberta Furlick's book, Justice Crucified, which I highly recommend. It is perhaps biased a bit, but she talks the same about growing up in a Jewish immigrant community and the tremendous fear that existed within communities of the left, immigrant communities of any kind. And as my father always said, the injustices that we will endure for a generation or two or three pale compared to what black people have endured for generation upon generation upon generation in this country. This is, and with that in mind, I'm going to perform a long medley, it takes about 36 minutes, of songs of martyrs for liberty. And I've built it around two songs. One is the great African-American song of liberation, No More Auction Block for Me, Many Thousands Gone. And the other is Woody Guthrie's song, Two Good Men a Long Time Gone, which he wrote at the urging of Moses Ashe for his collection, Ballads of Sacco and Vanzetti for Folkways Records. So, I'm going to start with a letter, a little bit of a letter from Nicola Sacco, which he wrote to his 7-year-old daughter Inés a month before the execution, July 19th, 1927. And then I'll go right into the song. And at the end of the song, I'll have a short piece in English from Bartolomeo Vanzetti's last letter to his family in Italy. And he had written that also in July of 1927. The executions were scheduled for midnight on the 22nd of August. They actually took place a few minutes after midnight on the 23rd of August. Rosina Sacco was pregnant with Inés at the time of Nicola Sacco's arrest. She was born while Sacco was in prison and had reached the age of 7 by the time of the execution. He wrote, "I would like that you should understand what I am going to say to you, and I wish I could write you so plain, for I long so much to have you hear all the heartbeat eagerness of your father, for I love you so much, as you are the dearest little beloved one. I know that you are good, and surely you love your mother and your brother Dante and all the beloved ones. And I am sure that you love me also, for I love you much, and them so much. You do not know, Ines, how often I think of you every day. You are in my heart, in my vision, in every angle of this sad walled cell, in the sky, and everywhere my gaze rests."
Dispossessed, reclaiming what was theirs. We come in peace, they said, to dig and sow. We come to work the lands in common and to make the wastelands grow. This earth divided and sell the earth for private gain by theft and murder. They took the land. Now everywhere the walls run up and they're banned. We work, we eat together, we need no swords. We will not bow to masters, nor pay rent to the lords. We are free men, though we are poor. You niggas all stand up for glory, stand up now. For the men of property, the orders came. They sent the hired men and troopers to wipe out the biggest claim, tear down their cottages, destroy their corn. We come in peace, the order came to cut them down. No more auction block for me. No, no, no. No more auction block for me. Many thousands gone. As I walked by the cliffside, I saw an old woman a-picking fresh nickels. She there saw me coming, and these are the words of the song she was humming. Glory, oh, to the poor man. When I was a young girl, their marching and drumming would make the hills echo and set my heart thrilling. They loved their old Ireland, and to die they were willing. Glory, oh, to the poor man. Some died by the hillside, some died by a stranger, and wise men have told us their cause was a failure. But Erin Gobra is our cause forever. Glory, oh, to the bold Fenian man. I went on my way, God be praised that I met her. Be lifelong or short, sure I'll never forget her. We may have forgotten, but we never had met her. Glory, oh, to the old Fenian man. No more auction block for me. No, no, more auction block for me. Many thousands gone. John Brown's body lies a mouldering in the grave. John Brown's body lies a mouldering in the grave. John Brown's body lies a mouldering in the grave, but his soul goes marching on. Hallelujah, glory, hallelujah, glory, hallelujah. His soul goes marching on. He captured Hobsbury with his 19 men so true. They hung him as a traitor, they themselves a traitor. He threatened old Virginia till she trembled through and through, and his soul goes marching on. Glory, hallelujah. Glory, hallelujah. Glory, hallelujah. to be a soldier in the army of the Lord. He's going to be a soldier in the army of the Lord. He's going to be a soldier in the army of the Lord. And his soul goes marching on. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Hallelujah. His soul goes marching on. No more auction block for me. No, no, no more auction block for me. Many thousands gone. Yo soy un hombre sincero, de donde crece alma. Yo soy un hombre sincero, de donde crece la palma. Y antes de morir me quiero echar mis brazos de Guantanamera, right here at Guantanamera. Guantanamera, right here at Guantanamera. Con los pobres de la tierra quiero yo mi suerte echar. Con los pobres de la tierra quiero yo mi suerte echar, porque el arroyo de la sierra me complace más que Guantanamera, right here at Guantanamera. Guantanamera, right here at Guantanamera. No more auction block for me. No, no, no. No more auction block for me. Many thousands gone. Long-haired preachers come out every night, try to tell you what's wrong and what's right. But when asked about something to eat, they reply in their voices so sweet. You will eat high and high in a glorious holy on the sky. Way up high, work and pray, live on faith. You'll get high in the sky when you die that someday. Oh, the Starvation Army comes out, and they rant and they jump and they shout till they have all the joy on the drum. Then they'll tell you when you're on the road, you will eat by and by in a glorious land above the sky. Way up high, work and pray, live by faith. You'll get high in the sky when you die that sky. If you life. Try to get something good for your children and wife. You're a bad man and sinner, they will tell. When you die, you will sure go to hell. You will meet by and by in a glorious land above the sky, way up high, work and pray, live high. You'll get high in the sky when you die. Someone, working men of all countries unite. Prepare for this long coming fight when the wealth of this world again. We can sing them their own sad refrain. You will eat by and by when you learn how to cook and how to fry. Chop some wood will do you good, and you'll be in that smooth by and by that's love. I dreamed I saw Joe last night, alive as you and me. Said I, but Joe, you're 107 years dead. I never died, said he. I never died, said he. The copper bosses killed you, Joe. They shot you, Joe, says I. Says he, what they forgot to kill went to organize. Went on to organize. From Diego to Maine, in every mine and mill, where working folks defend their rights, it's there you'll find Joe Hill. It's there you'll find Joe Hill. No more auction block for me. No, no, no more auction block for me. Many thousands gone. Who died for the black man, Lumumba? Who died for freedom, Lumumba? Who died so the black man can walk in freedom like every man? Who died for the black man, Lumumba? United Africa was his dream, Lumumba. Pulled together as a single team, Lumumba. Years of slavery, years of pain, a struggle of years, so much to gain. Who died for the black man, Lumumba? He called to take his stand, Lumumba. He spoke for the rights of man, Lumumba. He answered justice call, fought so hard for the rights of all. It was a sad day when that brave man called Lumumba. He died before his time, Lumumba. They killed him in his prime, Lumumba. But through Africa his voice still rings. Freedom and justice his soul shall bring. Lift every voice and sing, Lumumba. Lift every voice and sing, Lumumba.